Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Wednesday. It is November the 19th. We'll go ahead, we'll start at the top of the board, and since I do have a lot of jerseys in the background, I will get asked about jerseys and my opinions on them. Florida released their Winter Classic design, and I mean, it's a choice. I'm trying to find a spot where it won't have any kind of glare, which is difficult because the sun's coming in through the window and all that. It's a choice. There's a lot of stripes there. I'm wearing the blue, the jumping leaping panther they used to have, and this one just it doesn't. No, I. It's just the Rangers one is fine. It's a service. It's New York. It's Rangers. We know what that is. The Rangers understood the assignment and did something that's and it had to be a challenge for the Rangers too because they're also doing the Centennial this year. But Florida's, I mean, I think the funny part is that the players that they have wearing these jerseys, they all look miserable. All of the promotional photos they put out for Florida and the Rangers, everybody looks miserable. Nobody looks happy to be in those jerseys. I'm not saying they should be all like smiley and finger guns, but they just look miserable. They look like they're in a hostage video. It's just I don't know. For promotional material, I think the players should be going, I like this, rather than, all right, they maybe put this on, take the picture. Can I take it off now? But anyways, you guys can let me know your thoughts. I do like the Rangers one. The Florida one is interesting. That's one I'm going to be interested to see in person because it might be one of those jerseys that when things get ugly, that's what I put on. I do like that with the ugly jerseys I have for all these teams, that if things are going ugly, like if something really bad was to happen, the Kings go on like a 15-game losing streak, Burger King's right there. If the Devils go on this huge losing streak, I might put on a Kansas City Scouts or a Colorado Rockies because, just for fun. But, yeah, I don't really have a Florida one that I can say is ugly at this point, so the Winter Classic could very well be that ugly jersey. I just it's interesting. We'll go that far. You guys can let me know your thoughts. But yeah, so I did see some people on social media saying they liked it. I did see others saying they don't. I think the Leaping Panther, I don't understand why they didn't just put this one on the front. I don't. I don't know what's wrong with this one that they didn't put it on the front. Anyways, you guys can let me know your thoughts. I thought they'd put this one on the front and do some like classic striping, but yeah, it's different what they did. So there's been a lot of talk about Perek and what the plan's going to be with Calgary moving forward, and what's come out now is that the plan is he's going to be loaned to Team Canada for the World Juniors, so he'll have a chance to play there. And then I would guess goes right back to Calgary Flames once the World Juniors are done, which I think is the right call with Perek. Johnny Beecher is making his Flames debut tonight, so he'll be wearing the number 18 for the Calgary Flames. He used to wear 19 with Boston, so pretty easy transition for him there. I'll be interested to see how Beecher does tonight in his debut with the Flames. He's playing on a line with Morton and Klapka, so he'll have a chance to play some minutes, and we'll see if he gets elevated in the lineup as the game goes along. But yeah, so that'll be interesting. This is not a surprise to me. So neck guards. Neck guards are a conversation around the hockey world. They are mandatory for the 2026 Olympics. So when NHLers go over, they will be expected to wear the neck guards. Neck guards are not as uncomfortable as they used to be. They're not as bulky as they used to be. And in the next collective bargaining agreement, they are grandfathered in. So any rookie players coming in will have to wear them. Veterans, it will be optional. The same as it was with helmets, the same as it was with visors. And I remember all the fighting about helmets and visors when they came into that they were mandatory. The idea was, well, it's the player's own safety. So if they don't want to wear a helmet, who cares? And well, sticks are going to come up now because everybody's wearing a helmet. Then same thing with visors. Well, if players don't want to protect their eyes, that's up to them. And this is going to bring in a lot of stick work. So the neck guards shouldn't cause that same conversation to come in, but I would expect that idea of, well, they should have the right to say no, but it's just how it worked. And so for the Olympics, they'll have to wear the neck guards. Like I said, they're lighter, they're more comfortable than they were, and we're seeing more and more NHLers wearing them than we used to. So yeah, it's going to become part of their equipment, same as visors. I do remember a time where players were criticized for wearing visors and were called cowards for wearing visors. So there's that. So coming out of last night's games, I thought there might be supplemental discipline related to Mikko Rantanen. There is not. Apparently, according to Elliot Friedman, due to the fact there was contact with Mayfield before the collision, they are not doing anything in regards to supplemental discipline for Rantanen. To Rantanen's credit, he is saying that he has reached out to Romanov, let Romanov know that he did not mean to do what he did, that it was accidental. He has not heard back from Romanov as of yet. And this transitions into the Islanders part of the news. No word yet on what Romanov's status is coming out of that injury from last night. And there is some debate about whether or not there's going to be discipline for Patrick Roy's comments. I don't know if there would be if they weren't caught live on the microphone. I don't know. And I don't think the things that he said there are things that are completely out of line with what a coach will say in the heat of the moment. I don't think he means, you're not going to finish the next game. I don't think that's something that on reflection, Patrick Roy is 100% dedicated to ending, somebody else's game. But and I get it. As a coach, he's protective of his players. Patrick Roy has always been known as very temperamental. And so, yeah, it will be interesting to see if the league fines Patrick Roy or what they do. But at this point in time, nothing has come out. Once this video goes live, about 2 minutes later, we'll see some kind of announcement on that. But I honestly, coaches say things in the heat of the moment. If you can read lips during a hockey game, they say the word fudge quite a bit. And not just that, but there are things that players say between the benches that, they're kind of interesting. I always get a kick out of it during the game where you've got the talking head between the benches, and they're just standing there, and they're looking back and forth at the fighting that's going on between the benches. Sometimes they're laughing while they're listening, and sometimes there's just kind of like a subtle head shake. And then they'll tell the play-by-play guy, I can't report what's being said down here. These teams are really going at it. So it's part of hockey that you will say things. It's a physical sport, it's a fast sport, and it is one that definitely gets the temper up. And that's just amongst the fans. All right, but anyways, you guys can let me know your thoughts. I don't think there should be a fine to Patrick Roy. I think, if anything, the NHL should just let him know when the rematch is coming up a few months down the road, hey, remember what you said there? Please just, keep in mind that the NHL is keeping an eye on things and just keep that temperature down a little bit. I would expect Rantanen to be challenged, probably drop his gloves at the start of the next game between the two, and maybe that ends it. And I only say maybe because there are times where that doesn't end things. So we'll see. Drew Doughty has been placed on injured reserve. He's seen as being out for 2 to 3 weeks. So not great news, but definitely better than it could have been, knowing that he was in a walking boot after the game. And it should not impact his ability to make it onto the Canadian Olympic team one way or the other. I would think as long as he's back and healthy before they make their decision. Brady Tkachuk hoping to return to the lineup next week for the Ottawa Senators before American Thanksgiving. And, of course, I refer to as American Thanksgiving. I'm Canadian. We had Thanksgiving last month. Every now and then there will be comments of, well, why don't you just call it Thanksgiving? Because there's 2 countries and there's 2 different Thanksgiving. But Brady Tkachuk hopes to be back next week, which would be great for the Ottawa Senators. Basically, there's going to be some testing, talking with doctors, and he's hoping that this goes really well and he'll be cleared to return next week. A2 Luostarinen. What is it with weird injuries right now? He's week to week. Apparently he was burned in a barbecue accident. See, this is what happens when you play in Florida, where it's always warm. If you're up in Winnipeg, you're probably not barbecuing right now. So, he's week to week. He got burned in a barbecue accident, so it sounds like it was pretty serious. And, my thoughts with Luostarinen on this one. Burns are not fun. I have twice had second-degree burns on my leg, and both times, that was a pretty nasty experience. So, I all kidding aside, it is probably the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, and hopefully Luostarinen's good to come back in a couple to 3 weeks. I don't see him coming back quickly, especially if he burned his hands. I mean, if you burn your hands, obviously you're not going to be holding a hockey stick. It's going to mean you're going to be out for a while. So all the best to Luostarinen as he goes through his recovery from that. Lawton could return to the lineup tomorrow for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It doesn't look like anybody else will. Nyes missed that game last night too. So Toronto, a lot of players who are hurt, but that's kind of the thing around the National Hockey League right now. The teams that are doing well are usually the ones that are not dealing with the amount of injuries as the teams that aren't doing quite as well. So Lawton coming back tomorrow should help Toronto at least a little bit, but what would help them more would be Matthews and Nyes being back in the lineup. Garland is a participant at practice today for the Vancouver Canucks. No word yet on whether or not he's going to return for the next game, but this is a good sign that that may in fact be the case. Wasn't seen that he was going to be out that long anyways, so Garland coming back to the lineup for the Canucks would definitely help as they play at home against Dallas tomorrow night. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hit like and subscribe in the event that you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.